One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory.
No matter what black people do, we are walking targets just because.
My biggest fear is I won't hear about the next black man being killed by police, because it will be me.
Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific.
In 2013, Black Lives Matter movement started with hashtag Black Lives Matter, after the shooting of Trayvon Martin, where George Zimmerman was found not guilty.
Protesters saw wearing hoodies to show their support for the Martin family. Well, another hundreds of Americans saw wearing hoodies and walked into New York City. On social media, a lot of Americans, hundreds of them, saw wearing hoodies and take self-pictures to show justice for the Martin family.
Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure.
Last year, the Miami Heat basketball team posted a photo of themselves wearing hoodies in support of Trayvon Martin's protest. As a result of last year's violence in Ferguson, Missouri, the Hands Up Don't Shoot gesture has become a nationally recognized symbol of protest. The gesture and protest themselves have gained nationwide popularity. The St. Louis Rams have even been seen using the gesture in the beginning of some of their games.
Brown's death was not the first of its kind. Just a month prior, Eric Garner died because he was in a chokehold by the NYPD. Overall, black Americans were killed at twice the rate of Hispanics, Native Americans, and white people. And a quarter of them were completely unarmed when they were killed.
How can America, the shining beacon democracy of the world, justify the fact that black people are 40% of the inmates in prisons, where black people make up only 13% of the population?
A black person is being murdered by the police every 28 hours. After being arrested, African Americans are 33% more likely to be detained than their whites.
More black males are harassed by police officers than white males. It is almost as if being black is a crime, and police officers seem to think that by being black, you are a suspect. Today, we are told that every American has civil liberties, even though the people that are appointed to protect these liberties are denying them to black people in the full glare of the public.
I decided a few years ago never to buy a new car. Though the one I currently have is 13 years old and has clocked over 200,000 miles, the truth is I don't want to attract attention of the police officers by driving a brand new car. A friend of mine drives an SUV, told me that he's constantly being hounded by the police officers who are apparently not able to believe that a black man could possess such a big car and wonder whether he stole the car or not.
Black Lives Matter recently started to challenge politicians on what they think about Black Lives Matters.
Recently, Bill Clinton spoke at a Hillary Clinton rally in which Black Lives Matter protesters began to question and shout at Clinton. His response?
This is what's the matter. I don't know how you would characterize the gang leaders who got 13-year-old kids hopped up on crack and sent them out onto the street to murder other African-American children. Maybe you thought they were good citizens. She didn't. She didn't. You are defending the people who kill the lives you say matter.
Clinton later apologized for his response. The statement Black Lives Matter is often misinterpreted. People who are not victims of institutionalized racism tend to believe that the term excludes only people who face a social injustice.
No person's death is more important than another's. The idea that they face more difficulties, such as unequal pay, they're more likely to be pulled over, frisked, or harassed. The list goes on. Some people don't see through the same perception, arguing all lives matter.
It's like saying, save the rainforests, and somebody else asking, well, what about the other forests? The idea of these forests is that yes, they all matter, but rainforests are the ones threatened and facing negative environmental impacts, just the same way Black lives are and have been for a very long time marginalized.
According to blackpast.org, over 500,000 African Americans migrated to West Coast cities in hopes of escaping racism and discrimination. However, they found both in the West. For many Black Los Angeles, California residents who lived in Watts, their isolation in that community was evidence that racial equality remained a distant goal, as they experienced housing, education, employment, and political discrimination. These racial injustices caused Watts' African American population to explode on August 11, 1965, in what would become the Watts Rebellion. One of the most violent and damaging riots the country has ever seen took place in Watts, Los Angeles, California, when a resident by the name of Marquette Fry was pulled over by a police officer under the suspicion of driving while intoxicated. A group of onlookers, including Fry's mother, arrived at the scene, and outrage ensued when the officer drew his firearm on Fry for resisting arrest. The whole Fry family was placed under arrest, and soon after, people began to riot. The riots lasted for 5 days, during which 14,000 National Guard officers were called in to control the chaos. Arson, looting, and robbery ensued. A grand total of 34 people were killed during the riots. According to blackpast.org, there were 1,032 injuries, nearly 4,000 arrests, and $40 million in property damage. In spite of the protest, the Watts Rebellion did not significantly improve the lives of the community's Black population. While the revolt inspired the federal government to implement programs to address unemployment, education, healthcare, and housing under Lyndon B. Johnson's War on Poverty, much of the money allocated for these programs was eventually absorbed by the Vietnam War. Today, most of the population of Watts is Latino, with many residents from the Central American countries of El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. Although the population has changed, many of the issues of poverty, alienation, and discrimination still plague the community today.